how to implement the printdig function using the C code. So we're going to replace this with our own implementation in the C programming language. First of all, let's start creating a file named printdict, and inside the printdict function, we import the Python library. The printdict function doesn't return any value, so we have printdict, and it receives one Python object, which is a dictionary by object. In the C side, this is a struct. So a pointer to a object struct, and this struct contains necessary information for different Python functions to know how to manipulate. When you know what types is an object struct, you know which are the functions you're allowed to use for that object. So we have print by the object, which imports the dictionary, and and after that, we can start writing the code to print the keys and values. So how do we do that? First of all, in order to display a value from a dictionary, we need to know the list of keys. We create different variables. The first variable would be the list of keys. So we call the PyDict keys. This will return a list, a PyList object. So we can use this will be the list of keys from the dictionary. We also need to know the size of that list or the size of the dictionary in order to know how long we should loop. For that, I'm going to declare a PySize type, and the length will be set to PyDict size. We say PyDict. The size of the dictionary is the same as the size of the returned list. So we can just call PyDict size to get the length. And then we declare an index. So the key index variable. This will allows us to look through the list of keys and get the keys using the function. Now for key index equals 0, key index lesser than length, key index plus plus. Then we need to get the key, display the key. So how do we do that? We need to call the PyList get item, because the keys are in the key list. We pass in the keys object, and we also pass in the index for the key. This function will return a Py object. So you would want to create a variable to hold that. Py object type, which will be receiving a key. Now we assign the return value to the key, then we display it with the Py object print. This is the equivalent of the printdig function. So that would be by object print. We print the key. We have to pass some additional parameter. You can look into the documentation, but basically we have to specify the standard input, the output. So the stream, the output stream, std out, and with the flag set to 1. This will display, if it is, for example, a string, it will display the string as it is. Then the next thing would be to add a dot. Look in the terminal, we have the key, then a colon, I want to say a colon. We're going to add a colon. For that, we can use a function from the standard input output library, the stdio library, the fwrite function. The fwrite function takes up some parameters. The first parameter is a pointer to the bytes. So we want to add a colon, then a space. Then after that, the size of the pointer type, this will be 1. And the count of the number of bytes, we just want to display 2 bytes, 1 for the column and 1 for the space. Then we need to specify the output stream. This will be the standard output file. Then after that, we are set to display now the value from the dictionary. Still, we can use the py object print that we get the value from the dictionary. That will be py dict get item. We pass in the dictionary, then the key object, and then we specify the output stream, which is the center output. Then we set the flag to 1. And once we're done with that, we need to go to the next line. So I can just copy the fwrite function, and the next line would be, we use the line break character, and the count, the byte count will be 1. You can use the printf function, but the printf function, I just prefer to use this for this example. And at the end, we're now good. We loop through the list of keys. We get the keys from the key list object, py object. Then we print the key using the function from the Python library, py object print. Then we print the column. Then after that, we print the value of that key from the dictionary. Let's try to compile this code if it works. Oh, yes, we have a problem. Py dict keys. There is a typo. The keys, the K should be an uppercase K. Now the code compiled successfully. Let's replace our Python version function using with our own custom print dig function from the C code. I'm going to comment this out. Now we would have the print dict imported from our custom lib print dict. Then we have to specify the argument types. The argument types will be a Python object type, and that's it. So now we can delete our custom function, our own the Python version function. And here we're using the zip it function, then we use the print dig function. Let's run and see if the Python code works. Still, it displays name, age, and height. And we successfully replaced the zip it function, Python version, with the itsc version. And we also replaced the print dict function, Python version, with the C version here. In conclusion, what we just need to understand is that everything is object. We have everything in Python is object. Now, when you try to implement or using the Python API, what you would need to understand is that you can use there are a lot of functions, and each of these functions receive a specific types. So when you try to like how to say that, when you try to use an object with a function that doesn't support it, that can get you in trouble. So you always have to make sure what is the type of the object. And in the previous example, in order to know the type of an object, you can still, for example, access the struct member ob type, then type name. So this is a nested struct whenever you need to know the type. But in our case, we are sure that the type we're going to pass into this function is a dictionary type. So that's it. And this is it. The code will be available on the GitHub repository for this example. Have a great time.